Hello everybody. Today I am going to make a response to the tag that's been going around. This one here is going to be a response to AtheistBlindChick because she just kind of made it open to anybody. The number one question, what is my favorite movie? I suppose if I own a movie, that's sort of a good litmus test as to whether it's one of my favorites or not. And so right now I'm looking at on my movie rack is just behind the camera over here. I've got Fight Club. I've got the Star Wars movies, but I mean, you know, who doesn't own the Star Wars movies? Fight Club, Donnie Darko are the two that like stick out, and I've got the Austin Powers trilogy. Those are the ones that stick out. I would say I would suggest Donnie Darko, mostly because it's one that not a whole lot of people have seen. It's sort of like it's sort of a cult movie. You know, it's like a cult hit. I'd never seen any commercials or anything for it. I learned about it through a good friend of mine who was like absolutely infatuated with it, and it actually is a really good movie. So Donnie Darko, I'm gonna say. Okay, number two. What is the place in the world that I would most like to visit? And for me, again, that's very hard because I've never been out of the continental United States. I've barely been out of California. I've been to Nevada a couple of times. I've been to Oregon once. And other than that, I drove through Utah to get to Colorado. I spent about a week in Colorado. And I landed in Texas on my way to Florida. And I spent a week in Florida. So I don't think Texas or Utah really count. But technically I have been in those states. I've never been outside of the continental U.S. I've not even to Alaska or Hawaii. Egypt would be a good one for me. I'll call her my mother-in-law for lack of a better term, my partner's mother. She's buried somewhere in Egypt. That's where she died. We couldn't afford to have her shipped back over here. So she's buried somewhere over there. I'm not even sure if my partner knows where, but we would attempt to visit her gravesite, I'm sure, if we went there. But Egypt would be a nice place to visit. I'm gonna say Egypt at the top of my list. Also, I'd like to see the pyramids. I just think that would be cool. So number three is what's the last thing that I ate? No, I remember. It was ice cream. The last thing I ate was Snickers ice cream. Not one of the Snickers bars, the ice cream bars that look like the candy bars, but it's like actual vanilla ice cream with like chunks of chocolate and peanuts and caramel all swirled in there. It's pretty good, actually. Number four, a book to recommend to read and a film to recommend to see. Okay, now I'm gonna admit I'm not really that big on reading. There's only been two books that I've ever finished, and that was The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams, and The Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown. Those are the only two books that I've ever actually finished. So I suppose I'd have to suggest one of those two, and out of those two, I would suggest The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Just because it's really entertaining, it's funny as hell, and I like it. Oh, and a film to see. That's an easy one. I suggest the movie Saved. I don't actually own a copy. I wish I owned a copy. It's probably one of my favorites. but the movie Saved is a good movie. It's a critique on Christian fundamentalism, but it's also funny as hell, and it also kind of shows the whole gay teen issue that the Christian church deals with. And I thought the movie was absolutely awesome. I thought it was a really good movie, and I suggest that to any of my atheist friends, but particularly my gay atheist friends, because it does specifically deal with that topic. So that's that was number 4. Okay, number 5 is my earliest memory. And this one's very strange. It was my birthday. I know this for a fact, and it was either my first or my second birthday. I know that's hard to believe that I can remember back that far, but it was probably, I'm just gonna assume that it was my second birthday, because first birthday is a little harder to believe. So I'm gonna say it was my second birthday. Now, the memory that I have is my aunt, and she was my aunt at the time. I still call her my aunt, even though she's been divorced from my uncle for years, but she's my mom's best friend. My aunt took what was my favorite stuffed animal at the time, which was a Winnie the Pooh, and she took it, and I didn't know what she was going to do with it. And later on, she took it into the kitchen, which I was very confused by. What does it need to be doing in the kitchen? Are they going to cook it? What are they doing? What are they doing to my stuffed animal? What are they doing to Winnie the Pooh? And they come out with this cake that's decorated to look like Winnie the Pooh, and I just start crying. I thought they baked my teddy bear. I thought that they cooked my stuffed animal, and I didn't understand that they just needed it in order to get the design properly on the cake. And later my cousin comes out with my Winnie the Pooh, and I was happy. And I'm sure my parents were confused as hell as to why I was crying when I saw this cake. But yeah, I remember that very vividly. It's a very bizarre thing. But yeah, that was my earliest memory. And I've decided that the way that I'm going to run the tag game is, if you're watching this video right now and there are no video responses down there, or actually wait, no, if there are 4 or less video responses down there, consider yourself tagged. You are now tagged, even if you've done this response before. Just you know, instead of your favorite movie, come up with your second favorite movie. Instead of the first place you'd like to visit, come up with the second place you'd like to visit, etc. Even if you've never done a video before, make it your first video, or you know, do one of those. I like to call them radios. Where it's just music playing in the background and it's all text. You know, do one of those, or you know, record your voice and put some nice pictures in the background. Any of that's fine. And so if you're watching this video and there are no videos down there, or 4 or under, because you could be the fifth responder. So if there are no responses, or if there's not enough responses, you are tagged. And so that's the end of my video. I'll see you guys later. Thank you. Bye.